بهنام طالبلو، پژوهشگر ارشد بنیاد دفاع از دموکراسی FDD از واشنگتن دی سی با ما هست. این بنیاد حامی اعمال تحریم و حداکثر فشار بر جمهوری اسلامی به منظور تغییر رفتار ایران. آقای طالبلو، کدوم پیام رو کاخ سفید جدی میگیره؟ پیام محمد جواد ظریف رو یا پیام قاسم سلیمانی رو؟
Great to be with you. My counsel would be to take both messages quite seriously. However, when we look at the capability to make good on their threats, Soleimani's messages, whether private or public, should always be taken much more seriously. But on its face, both should be taken seriously.
اگر تأکید بیشتر بر روی پیام آقای سلیمانی بشه، آیا به معنای این نخواهد بود که جناحی که بیشتر طرفدار گفتگو با آمریکا هست تضعیف میشه و این همون خواسته جناح تندرو، جناح آقای سلیمانی در ایرانه؟
It depends what Washington's ultimate goal here is, and it's an excellent point. But at current trends in Iran show us that factionalism is not the driving force behind Iran's foreign and security policy the way it was in the 1980s or in the 1990s. Factionalism is ascendant in Iran. Factionalism is a force to be contended with in Iran. But when it comes to Iran's foreign and security policy, the hardliners and the hardline position is the de facto Iranian foreign and security policy position. Therefore, when you look at Syria, when you look at Iraq, when you look at the decision to intervene in Yemen, when you look at Iran's involvement in Bahrain, the Qasem Soleimani IRGC Quds Force position is the default national position of the Islamic Republic of Iran in that area.
البته نباید فراموش بکنیم که در آمریکا هم اختلاف‌های جناحی زیادی در مورد ایران وجود داشته. همین اختلاف‌ها باعث تغییرات زیادی شد. مثلا وزیر خارجه آمریکا تغییر کرد در مواردی، کم و بیش وزیر دفاع آمریکا هم که برکنار شد گفته میشه که اختلاف نظرهایی در مورد ایران در میان بوده. چقدر واقعا کاخ سفید بر سر ایران توافق نظر درش هست؟
I think if you look at some of the changes in personnel in the Trump administration, particularly in the year 2017, you've seen a constant narrowing and a constant kind of source of agreement towards the max pressure campaign. And ultimately, things have crescendoed or escalated. First, the Trump administration took 9 months to build its Iran policy. Then it decertified the Iran nuclear deal. Then it spent 6 months trying to fix the Iran nuclear deal. Then it left the Iran nuclear deal. And really, since it left the nuclear deal last May, I would say that most of the administration, almost all of the administration, is singing from the same sheet of paper. U.S. foreign and security policy, whether in rhetoric or in reality, seems to be complementary, especially as of last May.
فشارهای آمریکا بیشتر و بیشتر شده، شما هم به درستی اشاره کردید، ولی هسته اصلی قدرت در ایران به کار خودش ادامه داده. اگه این راه فشار حد اکثری نتیجه نداد، آمریکا چیکار میخواد بکنه؟
Well, you raise an excellent point, because in response to President Trump's and the Trump administration's maximum pressure policy, Tehran's strategy, at least in terms of foreign policy, has been maximum patience. It hasn't escalated grossly in Iraq or Syria. Things have remained relatively the same. Iran is cognizant of American military red lines, particularly in places like the Persian Gulf. And in terms of the nuclear deal, they're deciding to continue to hedge, to stay within the broad boundaries of the JCPOA. So in the face of maximum pressure, Tehran's strategy has been maximum patience. However, if Washington understands this, this means that Washington has to make patience as costly as possible for Tehran to get Iran back to the negotiating table. And it's in this view that I think the administration's decision to get Iranian oil exports to zero should be seen.
اگر این سیاست صبر و احتیاط همچنان ادامه پیدا بکنه، سالها طول بکشه و ایران تسلیم خواسته ها شروط 12 گانه آقای پومپئو نشه، در اون صورت چه؟
So much like during the Iran-Iraq War, for the first 7.5 years, when Ayatollah Khomeini, the founding father of Iran's Islamic Revolution, said the phrase "war, war, war until victory," now too Iran's leaders are looking to resist the sanctions pressure. However, at the end of the Iran-Iraq War, Khomeini said that if he had any dignity before God, he bargained it away, and he ultimately, as we all know, drank from the poison chalice. The goal here is to get Khomeini's successor, Khamenei, to reverse after a long trend of doing the opposite and get him to drink from a poison chalice and come back to the table and agree to a deal that addresses most, if not all, of the 12 points. I do have my doubts, however, as to the 12 points, meaning if they are predicates for negotiations, end states for negotiations, or talking points, but this is something we'll only discover as time moves ahead and as the max pressure campaign continues.
دقیقا همینه. شاید در زمان امضای قطعنامه وضعیت به گونه دیگر بود، ولی الان پذیرفتن این شروط 12 گانه از نظر تمام کسانی که وضعیت سیاسی ایران رو دنبال میکنن به معنای تغییر ماهیت جمهوری اسلامی هست. فکر میکنید واقعا هیچ امیدی وجود داشته باشه مبنی بر اینکه کسی در ایران در جمهوری اسلامی این شروط رو برآورده بکنه؟
Well, they're going to have to, because the ultimate goal of the maximum pressure campaign is to force the regime to a choice. Much like the regime has a choice in places like Syria, where it chooses to escalate covertly as opposed to overtly, or it pulls back every time there's an Israeli military response. Here, too, the regime has a choice. And if you force the regime on the military playing field, on the economic playing field, on the diplomatic playing field, to come to a choice, to put the decision to butter or guns, eventually the regime is going to have to do what it wants to do. Eventually the regime is going to have to come to the table if it decides to survive. And that's the ultimate goal here, to bring the regime to that tipping point. Because during the Iran-Iraq War, there was an economic tipping point, a military tipping point, an intelligence tipping point, some could even say, and of course a very prominent diplomatic tipping point. So the goal of the administration here is to increase the risk and to get Iran to realize that increased risk is not in the regime's interests.
ممنونم از بهنام طالبلو، پژوهشگر ارشد بنیاد دفاع از دموکراسی FTD از واشنگتن دی سی با ما.